A father-daughter duo run over a unicorn and take its body to the home of a wealthy philanthropist. However, the unicorn has some very angry parents out for revenge. Film fans YouTube, hello and welcome back to the channel. I am Josh, your Movie Apprentice, and today I am looking at Death of a Unicorn. Directed by Alex Scharfman and starring Jenna Ortega, Paul Rudd, and Will Poulter, Death of a Unicorn is finally out in the UK cinemas. I will say that for me, Death of a Unicorn, being one of the films that I anticipated the most this year, definitely lived up to the hype, and it lived up to it in an interesting way, because when it comes to movies, I find that as much as I love those fantastic movies that really dive into deep themes, movies at the end of the day, they are here to be entertainment, and what Death of a Unicorn provides is a very absurd premise that commits to its absurdity, fully hams it up in its delivery, and sprinkles in a theme or two to really sink your teeth into whilst enjoying the roller coaster ride that Death of a Unicorn takes you on. Let's start off first of all with the performances, because there are some fantastic performances across the board. Will Poulter is constantly living up to the guy with a punchable face, Monica, playing the son of the philanthropist, who is very airheaded, but also does some of the most bizarre things in this movie. Jenna Ortega, of course, plays the character that is very against the money-grabbing efforts that the philanthropist and his family go through when they discover that this unicorn has some strong pharmaceutical abilities. You have Paul Rudd, who plays a dad, who is just trying to find that balance between doing right by his daughter and staying on a moral ground that lines up with his daughter. Richard E. Grant as philanthropist is a lot of fun as well, and Tia Leone is honestly hilarious in this. The dynamic of the family in this very much reminded me of the family in Saltburn, but it feels like it was executed to a more extreme extent in this one, where you categorically could not like any of these characters in any single way, shape, or form. And I do love the thematic elements of both humanity's greedy nature, its self-righteous virtue signaling perspective to hide their true selfish motives, and the true selfish nature of humanity. Because this could easily be a film where it's the rich people are bad and the poor people are good. We see characters that all demonstrate a similar trait, and there is one rule that Jenna Ortega hammers home over and over again throughout the runtime, and those that ignore that ultimately meet a grisly end. And we have some great low-key performances in this as well. We have a servant character in this played by Anthony Carrigan, who I remember as Zast from Gotham, and it was just interesting to see him play this fresh role. But I love the low-key servant character that is the observer that actually has a heart of gold. This is a film that is strongly reliant on just how strong the performances are, because every character in this has this campy, over-the-top nature to them, but they're all believable in their own ways. And the theme of these pharmaceutical kingpins that claim to go for humanity, but their first thoughts when it comes to the medicinal properties of unicorn horns is to make as much money from it as possible, realizing how narrow and minute the resources are, so they're obviously going to sell it to the highest bidder. I love that theme of it. Power and Jenna Ortega make a great pairing in this. They share a very emotional couple of scenes together, and I absolutely adored their dynamic. Seeing this father having to juggle between truly believing in his daughter, but also prioritizing his work, prioritizing his career. Like, his priorities are very jaded throughout the film's runtime, and seeing that development from Paul Rudd throughout the film's runtime is very good. And Jenna Ortega is just so much fun as this character that is just surrounded by these people that are so selfish, trying to scream logic back into them, only to be completely blank. This is just a hugely entertaining film from a scriptwriting perspective, and as a creature feature monster movie, it has entertaining values to it, because the unicorns in this are savage in what they do. They take the fluffy unicorn concept and they add a dark sheen to it, give that horn a very heavy metal look, give their hooves an extra claw and very sharp teeth. Like, these unicorns hold nothing back. However, I will say that one of my big concerns going into this was the CGI going to hold up? Because that shot of the unicorn screaming Jenna Ortega's face had me questioning how these guys are going to look on screen. And for the most part, they look okay. They do feel like they fit in the world. It doesn't feel very uncanny valley where they're obviously not there. But there are moments, especially when it comes to daylight scenes, which are notoriously the hardest bits of it. You can tell they're just not really there, and it doesn't quite composite together as well as it probably should. Like, I know from a thematic standpoint, the unicorns that are killing are black furred because evil, but it's also a way to try and hide the shortcomings of the CG, because having these dark unicorn shapes in these night scenes, that's where they look the best, because it's easy to hide the shortcomings of the animation and the effects. And unfortunately, in daytime hours, that mask slips away and you get some very janky looking effects. There was one moment where a unicorn throws a character across the room, and you can almost see the tracking or the wire work just watching that particular moment. Just the motion of this character is too straight. Like, the motion is too straight and narrow. For the most parts, like, the unicorns do look decent, but it does feel like they could have used a little bit more of a budget to really fully immerse yourself in the fact that these unicorns are there. But I do love how the film commits to the absurdity of it, and it's just an absolute blast from start to finish. Before I get into my grade, if you like seeing our channel, click the like button and subscribe for more video reviews that's coming all the time. Without further ado, let's grade this. Death of a Unicorn is a bonkers movie with fantastic performances across the board that fully commit to its absurd premise. This film could have tried to play it straight, narrow, and real, but instead, it fully embraced the campy aspect, embraced the absurdity, sprinkled in some heavy themes of morality and the 1% and the privatization of healthcare. It has all those themes in there, slipped in with some very hammy dialogue that sails the point home for you, and it ends up being just an absolute joyous time at the movies. Like, you want to thought it's going to entertain you and you can rewatch over and over again. This is definitely one of those films. Death of a Unicorn is a lot of fun, but mainly because of some of the awkward effects, I can't give this too high a grade, so I'm going to have to say it for me, that Death of a Unicorn is a tea that needs more sugar. So, Death of a Unicorn, have you seen it? If you have, let me know down in the comments below. Would you like to see another film that shows unicorns in a horror section? Do let me know down in the comments below. Coming up on the channel, sorry for the weird release schedule I've been going through recently. I've been battling a cold on and off for the last few days, and it's been a pain in the ass, especially on the old voice there. But coming up, going to be talking about the Minecraft movie, and I will be still doing my late Woman in the Yard review because I just really want to talk about that movie. But until next, everybody, I am Josh, I am your Movie Apprentice, and I'll see you all in the next video.